Alrighty, here's part B of the test review. It says graph the system of inequalities. So the only thing different here is that we're going to have two inequalities to graph instead of just one, like on part A. So we're going to graph these one at a time. I'll use two different colors. I'll use red for the first one. Y is greater than 1/3 x plus 1. So that means my M is 1/3 and my B is 1. B represents the y-intercept, and that's where you begin. So we're going to begin at 1, and I'm going to move, like my slope tells me, up 1 and over 3. So my next point will go right here. All right, so I'm going to make a line through that, but before I do, I'm going to get one more point on there. Let's go the other direction with it and get another point. Cool. Now, this is a greater than symbol. There's no or equal to, so it's going to be a dashed line. Looks like that. And our shading is going to go above because it's greater than. So because this was a greater than symbol, we're going to shade above that line. Shading above the line feels really fine. Cool. So it can look something like that. Now we're going to do the other one. We'll do it in blue. All right. It's got an M of 1/3 as well and a B of -2. So that means it's going to begin at -2 on the y-axis, and it's going to move up 1 over 3, up 1 over 3. Let's get a couple points on there. Man, it looks very similar to the last line because they are parallel to each other. They have the same slopes. Oh no, I made a dashed line. I should have made a solid line. Because of the or equal to, I need to make a solid line there. Now with my shading, because it's a less than means below or, less than. So I'll shade the values below the line. All right, all right, all right. So because there's no place where those two overlap, they're not going to share a solution set. So if you said, what satisfies both of the inequalities, what satisfies the system, there wouldn't be any solutions, okay? So the red satisfies the top inequality, the blue satisfies the bottom, but there's nothing that satisfies both of them together. Looking at number 7, it says, which system of inequalities describes the graph? All right, all right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to figure out which line, let's start with the solid line. All right, the solid line, let's see, it has a y-intercept of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it has a y-intercept of 5. It has a slope where it goes, this is hard to see. This graph doesn't look real good. It looks like it goes down 1, right 1, down 1, right 1, down 1, right 1. Yeah, so down 1 over 1. So our slope is -1. And then our shading is above the solid line. So the shading is above that line. So I know it's greater than. And since it's a solid line, it's a greater than or equal to. So my first inequality is y is greater than or equal to -1x plus 5. Greater than or equal to -1x plus 5. So it could be A, it could be C, and it could be D. All right, it is definitely not B because this says less than -x plus 5. So B, you're out of here. So up next, let's look at the dashed line. The dashed line has a y-intercept of -1, 2, 3, 4. And a slope of up 1, 2 over 1, up 2 over 1. So a positive 2 over 1 is our slope. And the shading is above that line. So we need a greater than symbol and no or equal to because it is a dashed line. So we're looking for y is greater than 2x. Y is greater than 2x minus 4. So it can't be D because that says less than. So D, you're out of here. Y is greater than 2x minus 4. C looks good. C is definitely the answer. This one's out of here because, A is out of here because it says greater than or equal to, and A is out of here. C is the best answer. It has the right symbols, and they're going the right direction. Everything is good. Which graph represents the system of inequalities? Well, it's not going to be any of the graphs because there's no shading. What is going on with that? Yeah, there should have been shading on the graphs. I'm sorry. So you can shade it yourself and make it right. Actually, a lot didn't show up very good on this graph. So hard to see what's going on because nothing came through on the graph with the shading. So we're going to try our best, and we're going to find the graph that looks like 1/2 x plus 5. So we're going to find that somewhere in here, 1/2 x plus 5. It's going to have an intercept at 5. So I already know that D has to be the right answer because that's the only one that has a graph that has a y-intercept of 5 and goes up 1/2, or down 1, left 2, down 1, left 2. Solid line. Yep. Shading would have to be above. So shading should have been above. Cool, cool. Now for the other part, y is greater than negative 5/2 x minus 1 should have a y-intercept of negative 1 and be going down 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right 2. Yeah, that looks like it would have been right. And if I can reverse the pattern, then I can get the other point. Up 5, left 2. Yeah. Solid line, yep, should be a solid line. So D is going to be the right choice because it's the only one that has the correct lines, even though the shading didn't come through. And our shading is supposed to be above, so we would shade the region above. All right, and the most important region is the one where they overlap. So the overlapping region would have been this region. That's the region that is the solution to both inequalities, the system of inequalities. All right, so sorry that didn't come out very well. Through process of elimination, you should have been able to realize the correct answer should have been D, even though everything else didn't look right. A, B, and C just didn't have the right lines on there. Okay, moving on. Question 9, the 9th graders are hosting the school dance. They would like to make at least, so they can make greater than, they can make equal to, but they don't want to make less than $850 profit. The 9th graders estimate that they will sell at most, that at most 375 people will attend. So 375 is the most. So you will either be less than that or you will be equal to that at most. They will earn $4. So I'm going to put the money all together. So the $850 is the total profit. And so if they're going to earn $4, that's going to go in the same inequality with the $850. All the dollars are going to be together. They earn $4 for each ticket purchased in advance. So $4 for each advance ticket and $6 for each ticket at the door. They're going to sell advance tickets. They're going to sell door tickets. So those would be my two inequalities to represent the situation here. And our variables were A and D. A represent the amount of advance tickets. While D represented the amount of door tickets. So you get it, A for advance, D for door. Now, this is throwing some students off because they want to just say advance tickets or just say door tickets, but you need to tell me what about the advance tickets. It's the amount of dance tickets. It's the amount of door tickets. Otherwise, I might think you're talking about the cost of the door tickets or something like that. So make sure you do say it's the amount of tickets. All right, one more. Number 10. All right, this question is much easier than it looks. I know it looks like a hot mess, but blah, 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 blah. Okay, stuff. I've got an inequality here that represents the amount of money. So, and the shading is above that. So if I'm in the shaded region above that, I satisfy the amount of money. I'm making the amount of money I'm trying to make here. All right, I have another inequality that represents the amount of items sold. But we want to sell under a certain amount of items. So I need to be I need to shade underneath that to represent selling less than that. Now your graph is already shaded for you, but I just wanted you to understand what it meant. So the red area represents making more than enough money. The blue area means selling less items before I run out of items. And then the overlapping area, the most important area, the overlapping area represents satisfying both of those, making all the money I need to make and selling the amount of items that I'm supposed to sell. So that answers the first question here, selling enough of both items and making enough money. So I'm selling the right amount of items, I'm making the right amount of money, and I think that there's supposed to be a letter C there. So that was region C. Satisfying both of the inequalities. Selling enough items, but not making enough money. So satisfying, shading in the items part. So I'll be in the blue area, but not in the red area. So that would be region B, that's in the blue area, but not the red area. Making enough money, so I'm in the red area, but selling too many items. So I'm in the red, but not in the blue. That'd be the D region. And then selling too many items, but still not making enough money. I'm not satisfying either inequality. I'm in the A. I'm not shading the red. I'm not shading the blue. I'm selling too many. Boo. I'm not making enough money. Boo. All right, guys, that should be the easiest question on your test. It's going to be similar to this one. All right, all right.